Among all the human species that have walked the earth, Neanderthals are perhaps the most intriguing. Their close resemblance to us and their close relationship have led them to be considered a sister species. What's most surprising is that a part of their DNA is still present in most modern humans. Although the dates are not entirely precise, it is believed that these archaic humans habited various regions of Eurasia between roughly 400,000 and 40,000 years ago. Most of their history unfolded during the Chibaniense of the Pleistocene, a period characterized by a much colder climate than today and the presence of abundant megafauna in Eurasia, making life extremely challenging. To survive in these harsh conditions, Neanderthals evolved with an impressive biology, possessing physical capabilities that could almost be considered superhuman by today's standards. At first glance, the anatomical differences between Neanderthals and us might not be so obvious. One of the most notable features was their height, as fossil remains show that on average, Neanderthals were quite a bit shorter than modern humans. They stood about 14 centimeters shorter than populations of humans post-World War II. The tallest recorded Neanderthal, known as a Mood 1, was approximately 1.78 meters tall. However, when comparing Neanderthals to human populations from 20,000 years ago in Europe, we find that they were nearly the same height or even slightly taller, but the real surprise lies not so much in their height as in their weight. Neanderthals were significantly more robust. The average Neanderthal male weighed up to 83 kilograms, 183 pounds, while females were around 66 kilograms, 146 pounds, making them about 20% heavier than the average Homo sapiens. The reason behind this surprising weight is that Neanderthals had an extremely sturdy skeleton. Their bones were much denser and more compact than ours, being even twice as thick in some cases. Body parts like the shoulders, femurs, chest, arms, and knees were particularly solid, indicating they had very powerful musculature. In fact, it is widely accepted that Neanderthals were much stronger than modern humans, a key adaptation for their hunting style in confined spaces. Neanderthals were formidable hunters, and their physical strength allowed them to take on large prey. They used enormous spears to hunt medium to large animals such as rhinoceroses, horses, elephants, and of course, woolly mammoths. These mammoths were the size of modern African elephants and were covered in thick fur, making it even more challenging to bring them down. The Neanderthals' ability to confront these gigantic creatures not only showcases their strength, but also their ingenuity and adaptability to a harsh environment. While the woolly mammoth disappeared thousands of years ago, its close relative, the African savanna elephant, is currently endangered, largely due to human activity. The extensive and likely lifelong use of these massive spears is thought by some researchers to have contributed to the development of Neanderthals' muscular arms. These powerful arms allowed them to wield weapons with fierce intensity. Their well-defined arm musculature, along with their generally robust build, might also indicate extremely high hormone levels, according to at least one study. Researchers believe that Neanderthals naturally produced large amounts of hormones like testosterone, which enhanced their muscle mass and enabled them to perform incredible physical feats. For instance, it's estimated that a Neanderthal could carry up to 27 kilograms, 50 pounds of meat over distances of up to 48 kilometers, equivalent to walking 138 laps around a football field. Additionally, due to their broad chests, strong shoulders, and powerful triceps, some scientists suggest that Neanderthals may have been exceptional wrestlers and weightlifters. It's speculated that a male Neanderthal could bench press around 200 kilograms, 440 pounds, without any training, while females might have lifted about 160 kilograms, 350 pounds. Before we continue, if you like what you are watching, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our future content. It really helps support the channel and keeps us bringing you more quality content videos like this one. Now, let's get back to it. To put that in perspective, just 2/3 of that weight is already considered elite by today's standards. Beyond their strength, the physical robustness of Neanderthals also provided them with incredible durability. This was not just a decorative trait, it was a vital characteristic for surviving the brutal living conditions they faced. A systematic analysis of the skeletons found revealed that between 79% and 94% of Neanderthals showed signs of severe trauma that had fully healed. These injuries ranged from blunt force fractures to traumatic amputations. This level of physical damage suggests that Neanderthals lived in a violent environment, whether due to hunting large prey, conflicts among themselves, or attacks by animals. Surprisingly, 74% of Neanderthals showed signs of having survived violent encounters with animals, including large cats, wolves, and bears. What's most impressive is that scientists believe these attacks were not predatory attempts, but rather that the animals were defending themselves against the Neanderthals' own assaults. This really demonstrates how tough they were. In addition to their strength and physical endurance, Neanderthals had impressive lung capacity. One of the most evident signs of this adaptation was their broad chests, which housed larger rib cages and wider lungs. Studies have found that, on average, Neanderthals had about 20% greater lung capacity than modern humans. However, this number could vary significantly, with some exceptional individuals exceeding even that percentage. A notable example is Kabara 2, a male Neanderthal whose lungs could likely hold up to 9 liters of air, 40% more than the lungs of an average modern man. To put this in perspective, until recently, the highest recorded lung capacity in an athlete was 8.5 liters. Neanderthals not only had large lungs, their nasal passages also played a crucial role in this process. They were longer and wider than ours, allowing them to move air at a speed 100% faster than any modern human. This incredible ability to absorb oxygen not only helped them support their larger bodies, but was also key to surviving in the cold climates they inhabited. It's believed that Neanderthals, like many animals living in cold environments, evolved to have a faster metabolic rate to compensate for heat loss. This adaptation is also reflected in their energy needs, with estimates suggesting that a Neanderthal required between 4,500 and 6,700 calories per day, more than double what a modern human needs. If they were still around, their food would likely have specific nutritional labels for Neanderthals and Homo sapiens. The robust shape of their noses also directly aided in warming and humidifying the cold, dry air they inhaled. With such impressive respiratory capacity, you might think that Neanderthals were exceptional long-distance runners capable of exhausting their prey, but their physiology revealed much more about their efficiency as hunters. Contrary to what one might expect, Neanderthals were not particularly suited for endurance activities like running long distances. Instead, they were built for quick bursts of speed. A biological example supporting this idea is their feet. Neanderthal toes were longer and wider, allowing them to stay in contact with the ground longer and generate more power in their initial steps, giving them a quick start. Additionally, their legs were relatively short, a characteristic uncommon among endurance athletes, who typically have long legs to increase stride length. Another key factor is the design of their Achilles tendons, which were long and narrow. This type of tendon is not ideal for storing the energy needed for long-distance running, in contrast to the short, thick tendons of modern endurance athletes, which are designed to conserve energy during prolonged races. So, while their lower limbs clearly indicated they were better adapted for speed rather than endurance, the true test lies in something we can't see at first glance: their muscle composition. As you may know, modern humans have different types of muscle fibers, specialized for generating power or sustaining endurance, depending on their proportions. For instance, some people have a higher amount of fast-twitch muscle fibers, which generate bursts of energy for quick movements, while others have more slow-twitch fibers, allowing for better performance in prolonged activities like long-distance running. In Neanderthals, it's believed there was a significantly higher proportion of fast-twitch muscle fibers compared to modern humans. This would be an adaptation to their hunting style, which required short bursts of speed to quickly and efficiently approach and attack their prey. So if you ever found yourself face-to-face with a Neanderthal, you'd better challenge them to a marathon rather than a short race to have a better chance of winning. In addition to their impressive physical strength, Neanderthals also had surprisingly large brains. In fact, the cranial cavities of male Neanderthals averaged about 1,640 cubic centimeters, while females reached around 1,460 cubic centimeters. This means their brains were, in some cases, up to 30% larger than ours in terms of volume. Now, brain size isn't everything when it comes to intelligence, but this massive size suggests that Neanderthals were much more intelligent than initially thought. Today, it is widely accepted that they were capable of performing a variety of complex tasks, such as coordinating hunts, making tools, creating art, caring for the sick, and even communicating effectively. Despite their larger brain size, scientists do not believe Neanderthals were necessarily more intelligent than modern humans. Their brains were also structurally different. They had a more rounded and bulbous shape, partly related to their need to manage a larger body. Additionally, they dedicated more areas of their brains to certain senses, such as smell and vision. For instance, their occipital lobes were notably large, suggesting that Neanderthals had excellent eyesight. In fact, some researchers think that the need to process all that visual information is one reason their brains were so large. Although no intact Neanderthal eye has ever been found, it is estimated that their eyes were about 15% larger than ours, based on the size and shape of their eye sockets. This would have allowed them to see more clearly and have better night vision than we do. The combination of their large brains, eyes, and wide noses resulted in considerably sized heads, which Neanderthals needed to support with robust necks. Moreover, their skulls were not only larger compared to ours, but also elongated and projected forward, giving them a unique appearance and facilitating the support of these large structures. Neanderthals also had notably large facial features, especially their jaws and teeth. Initially, it was thought that their thick, broad jaws and sturdy teeth indicated an extraordinary bite force, allowing them to tear through bones, tough meat, and a variety of abrasive foods. However, more recent studies have revealed that their bite force was not significantly different from ours, estimated at around 700 newtons, comparable to the strongest bites of modern humans. While it would certainly hurt to be bitten by one, it likely wouldn't cause catastrophic injuries most of the time. This raises the question, why did they have such large mouths and teeth if not for their bite force? An interesting theory suggests that their jaws simply widened to accommodate their teeth, which evolved into a sort of third hand. According to a group of researchers, Neanderthals used their teeth to grasp and manipulate various objects, leaving their hands free for other tasks. There is evidence to support this idea, as the wear patterns on Neanderthal front teeth do not match typical patterns associated with chewing or eating. This type of wear, found exclusively in them, suggests that they frequently used their front teeth to bite into objects. Additionally, the robustness of each tooth likely played an important role in digesting their diet, which according to isotopic analyses, consisted largely of meat. In fact, Neanderthals are considered hypercarnivores, with about 70% of their caloric needs coming exclusively from meat. Neanderthals disappeared around 40,000 years ago, and their extinction is a topic of great interest in prehistoric research. It wasn't due to a single cause, but rather a combination of factors that collectively led to the disappearance of this human species. To understand their extinction, it's essential to explore how these factors interacted and how they impacted Neanderthal survival. One of the most significant aspects of the Neanderthals' disappearance was the arrival of Homo sapiens in Europe and Asia. These modern humans, who evolved in Africa, began to expand into the territories traditionally occupied by Neanderthals. This encounter between the two species forever changed the course of history. Homo sapiens brought several competitive advantages. They had more advanced tools made with greater precision and specialization, which allowed them to hunt more efficiently and survive in hostile environments. Their ability to create suitable clothing, as evidenced by the use of bone needles, enabled them to withstand extremely cold climates. In addition to their technology, Homo sapiens seemed to possess a more complex social organization. They likely lived in larger groups with better cooperative networks, which facilitated knowledge sharing, resource distribution, and defense against environmental dangers. It's important to note that during the Pleistocene, the Earth experienced cycles of glaciations and interglaciations. Neanderthals, who had survived for a long time in cold environments, faced a new challenge when, around 40,000 years ago, temperatures dropped sharply again. These changes would have reduced available resources, as many of the animals they relied on for hunting began to dwindle or migrate to warmer areas. Homo sapiens, on the other hand, were more adaptable in terms of diet, exploiting a wider range of foods such as plants, seafood, and small animals, giving them greater resilience in the face of these climatic fluctuations. As for the Neanderthals, while they were skilled hunters and toolmakers, their reliance on hunting large animals may have made them more vulnerable as those populations began to decline. Moreover, interactions between Neanderthals and Homo sapiens were not solely competitive. Evidence shows that the two species interbred, resulting in genetic exchange. Today, 1% to 2% of the DNA of non-African modern humans comes from Neanderthals, indicating that they were not simply eliminated but partially absorbed through hybridization. This suggests that rather than a violent extinction, some Neanderthals may have integrated into Homo sapiens communities, leaving a genetic legacy that persists in modern humans. Neanderthal populations were already declining before the arrival of Homo sapiens, suggesting they were experiencing a loss of genetic diversity. This phenomenon is common in declining species and may have made Neanderthals more vulnerable to diseases, environmental changes, and other stressors. Their ability to adapt to new conditions decreased, contributing to their eventual disappearance. Another important factor to consider is the potential transmission of diseases. Homo sapiens, coming from Africa, may have brought pathogens to which Neanderthals had no immunity. This could have been devastating for already reduced and fragmented populations. Additionally, catastrophic events may have accelerated the extinction of Neanderthals. The eruption of the Campi Flegrei supervolcano in Italy, which occurred around 39,000 years ago, may have caused a sudden cooling of the climate in Europe. This volcanic eruption, known as the Campi Flegrei eruption, would have released enormous amounts of ash into the atmosphere, blocking sunlight and creating a volcanic winter that could have further hindered Neanderthal survival. At this point, you might think that Neanderthals were quite peculiar compared to us, and if you're one of the many people with Neanderthal DNA, you may wonder, what impact does that have on you? Does it mean you have super strength or a voracious appetite for meat? To be honest, most studies to date have not found significant results. The majority suggests that Neanderthal DNA has subtle effects on physical performance or appearance. However, there is a growing list of studies suggesting that their DNA may have had a more substantial impact on our internal systems than previously thought. That said, many of these studies contradict one another, and there is much disagreement about the true magnitude of Neanderthal DNA's impact. What is clear and universally agreed upon is how incredibly fascinating these extinct humans were. That's all for today. If you enjoyed the video, leave your like and subscribe to support me to create more content. See you soon in the next video.